What's up, everybody? Welcome to Paiper Zombie Productions, home of the original ZTV. I am Paiper Zombie, your host as always, and on today's episode of Stupid Stuff, let's talk about this nightmare virus. This thing has been causing a whole lot of uproar lately. People walking around acting like they work in hospitals with masks on, gloves on, pulling oxygen tanks in behind them. People running out and buying sanitizer like they own stock in Purell. People hoarding toilet paper like it really takes 4 12-packs of Charmin just to keep them good for 2 weeks. People out there stocking up on groceries like they're about to go off sale tomorrow forever. I mean, it's gotten crazy. Is this where society is at now, that they're treating something that's no worse than the flu like it's the sequel to AIDS? Because I don't remember seeing anything like this when Ebola broke out in the 90s or when SARS broke out in the 2000s, and both of those were fatal viruses. If they want to make this a sequel to something, like I said, they should make this a sequel to the flu. The only reason people are so susceptible to this nightmare virus is because this is the first time our immune systems have ever had to deal with it. And because it manifests in the lower part of the lungs instead of the upper portion, like everything else our immune system is used to dealing with, it takes a moment for our immune systems to kick in and rally the troops to defend the body. The process it goes through is just like the flu. It gives you the same types of symptoms. But guess how you treat the nightmare virus? You treat it exactly like you treat the flu. There is no special set of medicine that people have to go out to take if they get it. Regular over-the-counter NyQuil or fever medicine will do just fine. And you stay away from everybody for 2 weeks because you're sick and contagious that first week, and on that second week you're recovering and getting that stuff out of your system. And that's just like the flu, or chickenpox, or measles. Is no different at all. But you know what? Speaking of chickenpox and the measles, I can remember when those were regular childhood sicknesses. If a kid in class came down with it, then that kid, and that kid specifically, got sent home and wasn't allowed to come back until they were well. They didn't just cancel school for 2 weeks just because one kid had it. They didn't even do that when the measles made the short comeback it did not too long ago, if you all remember. You didn't hear about this social distancing BS, or this not shaking hands, or no crowds bigger than 1,000 people. I mean, NBA seasons weren't getting suspended because a player came down with the measles. Hell, they didn't even cancel NBA seasons when they found out that Magic Johnson had AIDS. And that was during a time when the general populace didn't even know that much about AIDS. You didn't hear any celebrities out there on Twitter talking about, I got the measles. You didn't hear about audiences getting canceled at live shows because they were afraid somebody in the audience might have the measles. You didn't hear about restaurants only serving people through the drive-thru or only letting so many people into the place at a time to order to get their food. You didn't hear about a nationwide state of emergency with possible mandatory testing for everyone. And check this out, measles is more fatal than the nightmare virus. So tell me how that even works. Because the only people who have passed away from the nightmare virus are elderly people who already had poor or compromised immune systems in the first place. It would have been the same situation if they would have caught the flu or any of those big viruses like that. It would have been too much for their system to handle. I'm telling you, when did people forget how to handle something like this? When did people forget that when you go out in public, you Dracula that mess when you sneeze or cough? It's common courtesy. And when do people forget that when their sneezing and coughing gets to a certain point, it's probably best that they don't go out until that mess clears up? Nobody wants to hear a nasty loogie cough. Please, keep that mess at home until it's out of you. Then you could come out and play. And when did people forget how to wash their damn hands and when? That's like that time on Family Guy where Peter forgot how to sit down. If you just went through a dirty environment or an environment where you suspect somebody who was sick was in, common sense should tell you that it's a good idea to wash your hands before you touch anywhere on your face. And to go along with that, when did people forget basic housekeeping, like keeping doorknobs and telephones and things that people touch a lot clean, along with the rest of the house or office or whatever? It's like society had a memory lapse and is now 5 and doesn't understand. And I know that having said all this, it sounds like I'm not taking this situation seriously at all. But don't get it twisted, because I definitely am. I do think that caution and awareness should be exercised in this situation, but all this panic and people tripping out the way that they are is unnecessary. It's making a mountain out of a molehill in the truest sense. I'm just saying, let's be smart about this. Other than that, society will have us afraid to go to work, afraid to go to school, afraid to be in any public place, and have us all locked up in our homes like we're the ones with the damn nightmare virus. And don't be surprised if that happens. Don't be surprised if Lashomar gets activated and then we don't have any choice but to stay in the house. Let's hope that it doesn't go there though. Because if you think you've seen something, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm Paiper Zombie, and I'll catch you next time.